In the world of One Piece, there exist many unique powers and abilities. Some characters primarily rely on haki, while others depend on weapons, devil fruits, or entirely different skills. This diversity makes power classification an interesting topic to explore. In this video, I will go through 8 distinct power categories and determine the strongest character in each one. For instance, selecting the most powerful armament haki user can be challenging. The reason for this is that a character's overall strength isn't always directly tied to their haki ability alone. However, one character who demonstrated the potential of armament haki to an extreme degree is Virgo. He showcased the ability to coat his entire body with a thick layer of armament haki, elevating his physical durability and attack power. While this feat was visually impressive, it may not be enough to cement him as the strongest in this category. Virgo stands out as the strongest armament haki user, despite lacking the immense physical strength of characters like Kaido and Big Mom. While both of them were nearly indestructible due to their mastery of armament haki, their raw durability wasn't solely dependent on this power. Virgo, on the other hand, showcased an unparalleled ability to coat his entire body in armament haki, making him a true specialist in this category. However, even Kaido and Big Mom are not the absolute strongest in terms of armament haki. Looking back to Roger's era, many legendary pirates like Whitebeard, Roger, and Shiki possessed either overwhelming conqueror's haki or powerful devil fruits. Among them, there was one man who stood in their way without relying on a devil fruit, Garp. Recently, it was confirmed that Garp also possesses conqueror's haki, but from what we've seen in battle, he primarily relies on armament haki and sheer physical strength. His training methods involve punching giant battleships with his bare fists, a technique that sounds bizarre but has proven highly effective. Just ask Chinzhou, who learned firsthand how devastating Garp's punches could be. Another character worth mentioning is Koby, who recently demonstrated his impressive growth by splitting Pizarro's hand in two with his Honesty Impact. Though the name of the attack could use some work, the sheer power behind it was undeniable. Despite Koby's rapid progress, Garp remains the strongest armament haki user in the series. However, I have no doubt that at some point in the future, Koby will surpass him. His potential is undeniable, and with time, he could become an even greater force. With armament haki covered, there are still 7 power categories left to explore. Next, let's move on to determining the strongest swordsman in the series. This category is a bit tricky because Mihawk has already been officially recognized as the world's strongest swordsman. But the question remains, does he truly hold that title? There is still some debate about whether Mihawk is truly the strongest swordsman or if there are characters who could surpass him. While his reputation and past achievements are impressive, he has done little on screen to prove his dominance. For now, he remains a title holder who spends most of his time waiting in the background. If you'd like to see Mihawk actually take action after 25 long years, be sure to hit that subscribe button. One major contender for the title of the world's strongest swordsman is, of course, Zoro. As the primary swordsman of the series, he has grown immensely since the last time he fought Mihawk. His strength has increased by thousands of times, and he has accomplished remarkable feats along the way. Zoro has taken down numerous infamous pirates, earned a high-ranking officer position in an emperor's crew, and even acquired a powerful new weapon. His journey has been filled with challenges that have pushed him beyond his limits, making him a serious challenger to Mihawk's title. Zoro has even earned himself a well-deserved Billion-Berry bounty, a testament to his growing strength. I think we can all agree that his rematch with Mihawk is long overdue. However, as strong as he has become, I don't believe he is quite ready for that battle just yet. While it's too early for Zoro to claim the title of the strongest swordsman, there are still 2 more legendary figures to consider besides Mihawk. During the chaos at Egghead, all 5 elders arrived on the island, and one of them, Nusjuro, was revealed to be a swordsman. Though his clash with Zoro was brief, he gave off an overwhelming presence, making it clear that he is likely stronger than Zoro at this point. His true power remains a mystery, but one major detail sets him apart. His blade has been permanently turned black. This is an achievement that only he and Mihawk have accomplished in recent history, indicating an extraordinary level of mastery. But what if I told you that neither Nusjuro nor Mihawk is actually the strongest swordsman? Centuries ago, there existed another warrior who may have surpassed them both. One such swordsman who managed to turn his blade black was none other than the legendary sword god, Ryuma. Many people only remember Ryuma as the zombie that Zoro fought on Thriller Bark, but that was merely his ancient corpse powered by Brook's relatively weak shadow. In reality, Ryuma was a legendary samurai from Wano, widely regarded as the strongest swordsman of his era. His reputation extended far beyond Wano, as he was known across the world for slaying a real dragon. Unlike the artificial dragons created in Punk Hazard, these creatures were truly formidable, making his feat even more extraordinary. This achievement alone cemented his status as a warrior of unmatched skill. However, the greatest testament to Ryuma's strength was the fact that the world government feared him so much that they never dared to invade Wano, even long after his death. This level of respect and intimidation sets him apart as possibly the strongest swordsman in history. Now, moving on to the next category, let's determine the most powerful science-based fighter in the series. When it comes to fighters who use science and electronics in battle, there are several strong contenders. One of the first names that comes to mind is Vinsmoke Judge, a highly skilled scientist best known for creating clone soldiers and raid suits. Judge faced off against Sanji on Whole Cake Island, and while he proved to be a capable fighter, there are much stronger characters in this category. One of them is Franky, an exceptional scientist and engineer with a passion for building powerful weapons. Even as a child, he was fascinated by machinery, and after nearly dying from the sea train accident, he rebuilt himself using scrap parts. Since then, he has continually upgraded his body, integrating advanced technology to enhance his combat abilities. After studying Vegapunk's original lab, Franky gained access to some remarkable techniques, including the Radical Beam, a highly precise and powerful laser attack modeled after Kizaru's Devil Fruit ability. However, another major contender in this category is Vegapunk himself. As the greatest scientific mind in the world, he and his satellites have access to some of the most advanced technology, making them formidable fighters. For example, the bubble gun is one of the many deadly weapons created by Vegapunk's team, showcasing their ability to develop both offensive and defensive scientific marvels. Against Devil Fruit users, weapons like the bubble gun could be incredibly effective, and when combined with something like the Vega Force 1, the potential becomes even more terrifying. However, despite his scientific genius, Vegapunk was never interested in creating powerful weapons, which is why he does not take the title of the strongest science-based fighter. So, who does? While discussing Judge, I left out one crucial detail: his groundbreaking achievement in genetic modification. He discovered a way to alter his children's genetics before they were even born, granting them superhuman abilities. This experiment resulted in incredibly powerful offspring, but none of them compare to the true strongest science-based fighter. Sanji is the ultimate product of Judge's modifications. Once his abilities fully awakened, his endurance skyrocketed, allowing him to survive Queen's blade striking him without injury. Even Seraphim, known for their incredible durability, was confused by how tough Sanji had become. Along with his enhanced durability, Sanji's strength and speed increased dramatically, to the point where he could move so fast that he became nearly invisible. This overwhelming speed and power ultimately led to his victory over Queen. While Sanji himself has no background in science, the fact that his abilities stem from Judge's genetic modifications makes him a science-based fighter. This next category is a unique one that I call mysterious abilities. It includes characters whose special powers do not come from devil fruits or haki, making them stand out in the world of One Piece. There are several fascinating fighters who fit this description, each with abilities that defy conventional power systems. One such character is Rob Lucci, who has mastered the Rokushiki techniques. These grant him a variety of incredible abilities, such as walking on air, moving at extreme speeds, and even launching air slashes. Lucci is not only the most skilled user of these techniques, but he is also the only person known to have mastered the seventh secret move, Rokuogen. Rokuogen is a devastating technique that allows Lucci to attack his opponent from the inside without even making direct contact. He famously used this ability against Luffy during the battle at Enies Lobby, proving just how dangerous it can be. However, Lucci is not the only fighter with a mysterious power that comes from neither devil fruits nor haki. Another contender in this category is Cavendish and his alter ego, Hakuba. Whenever Cavendish falls asleep, Hakuba awakens, turning him into a nearly unstoppable force. In this state, he becomes a super-fast killing machine, moving so quickly that even seasoned fighters struggle to react. He demonstrated this when he effortlessly took down Dellinger, one of Doflamingo's officers, in the blink of an eye. Dellinger was supposed to be the fast one, but Hakuba's overwhelming speed allowed him to defeat him with ease. The only major downside to Hakuba's power is that it's driven purely by instinct. This means that once he awakens, he will attack the first person he sees, making him highly predictable and easy to outsmart. Despite his deadly abilities, neither Lucci nor Hakuba come close to the next character I'm going to mention, who seems to possess some kind of demon within him. I'm, of course, referring to Zoro and his Oni technique, where he can manifest two full clones of himself to perform devastating attacks. Zoro has only used this technique 3 times in the entire series, with one instance being just for the purpose of eating faster. The other 2 uses were far more significant. The first time Zoro revealed this technique was at Eni's lobby, where he used it to utterly destroy Koku, who initially mistook the clones for mere illusions. The second time came during the battle on Onigashima's rooftop, when Zoro managed to inflict a life-lasting wound on Kaido, an achievement previously only accomplished by Oden himself. While Zoro's Uni technique is formidable, we can't overlook Emu and the 5 Elders. These mysterious figures seem to be stronger than Zoro, and if we consider their potential power, they would likely win in this category. However, we still don't know if their abilities are linked to devil fruits, so until we get more information on their true nature, Zoro takes the trophy for now. There are only 4 categories left to cover, and let's dive into one that everyone has been waiting for, the Conqueror's Haki. Conqueror's Haki is the rarest and most powerful form of Haki, manifesting in only 1 out of a million people. It's so potent that many strong characters choose to train in this ability instead of relying on devil fruits. Take Oden, for example. His Conqueror's Haki was so powerful that it allowed him to challenge some of the strongest figures in history, all without ever consuming a devil fruit. However, one man who had no issue battling Oden was the legendary pirate king, Gol D. Roger. Roger was seen as the master of Conqueror's Haki, able to fight on equal terms with Whitebeard, who not only had a potent Conqueror's Haki but also possessed one of the most overpowered devil fruits in existence. If we were only ranking the strongest Conqueror's Haki users from the previous era, Roger would surely come out on top. But we can't ignore the 2 pirates from the current era who have also earned their place in this category. One of them is, of course, Luffy. In his recent battles, Luffy has shown just how formidable his Conqueror's Haki truly is. He has fought against an Emperor, an Admiral, and a Gorosei member, arguably the 3 most powerful factions in the world. These encounters have allowed Luffy to demonstrate just how much stronger his Conqueror's Haki has become. Luffy's Conqueror's Haki has shown immense strength, especially in recent battles. The sky itself was split in half when he unleashed it, proving that his mastery of the ability could very well rival Roger's. However, we don't have to choose between these 2, because there's still one character whose Conqueror's Haki surpasses all of them, red-haired Shanks. For a long time, Shanks' true power was a mystery, mainly because he rarely appeared in the story. But in recent chapters, he's done 2 things that have firmly established how formidable both he and his Haki truly are. First, he managed to strike Green Bull with a blast of Conqueror's Haki from miles away, completely incapacitating the Admiral. Then, during his confrontation with Kid, Shanks demonstrated his prowess by using Roger's legendary move, Divine Departure, to utterly annihilate Kid and his entire crew in the blink of an eye. It's clear now that Shanks is the undisputed king of Conqueror's Haki, and unless something drastic changes, I don't see that title shifting anytime soon. Moving on to another vital ability on the seas, let's talk about Observation Haki. This power is incredibly useful, as it allows strong fighters to always stay alert to their opponent's movements and even scan their surroundings for potential threats. Observation Haki is crucial for detecting threats or traps, and one person who has trained it to its absolute limits is Admiral Fujitora. Despite being blind for several years, Fujitora has never ceased using his Observation Haki. His proficiency with it is so remarkable that he can essentially see as if he had normal vision, sensing everything happening around him, even from miles away. However, there is a limitation. Standard Observation Haki can only take him so far. The true strength of this power is unlocked when it is awakened. Advanced Observation Haki, or Future Sight, is an incredibly potent ability that allows the user to see a few seconds into the future. One of the most famous users of this ability is Katakuri. During his battle with Luffy, Katakuri was almost untouchable, as his Future Sight made it incredibly difficult for Luffy to land a hit. To defeat him, Luffy had to not only learn Future Sight himself but also outpace Katakuri, and even then, it was a close call. Besides Katakuri, Kaido also possesses this ability. While it's tough to determine which Future Sight user is the strongest, it turns out we don't need to figure that out, as none of them are the best at it. Typically, those who can use this power can only see about 5 seconds into the future, but Shanks, the king of Haki, can see over 10 seconds into the future. We saw this when he anticipated Kid's entire attack before it even happened and effortlessly stopped it. This feat makes him the winner in 2 categories. But don't worry, he probably won't be appearing a third time in this list. Now, before we dive into the final category and determine the strongest Devil Fruit user in the entire series, let's quickly go over the Monsters category. While being a monster isn't necessarily a power, given that One Piece features so many unique animals and creatures, I thought it would be fun to determine which one stands out as the strongest. The first monsters that come to mind are the human drills. These exceptionally intelligent monkeys can imitate anything they see. For instance, one of them copied Zoro's three-sword style after watching him fight, while their leader used a replica of Mihawk's sword and mimicked his attacks. These monkeys are undeniably formidable, but there are other, more powerful monsters to consider. One such example is the giant shadow monsters from the Florian Triangle. While we know very little about these creatures, their massive size and ominous presence suggest that they must be incredibly powerful. Another notable contender is the Island Eater, an appropriately named goldfish that is one of the largest creatures in the world. The Island Eater is an enormous creature. As Usopp pointed out back in Syrup Village, its poop is so massive that it could easily be mistaken for an island. The Straw Hats would have been easily devoured by it if not for Dewey and Broy stepping in. However, an even bigger and more terrifying creature than this is Zunisha, and I don't think we fully grasp just how colossal this being is. To put it into perspective, it would take 5,000 Kaidos stacked on top of each other to match Zunisha's height. Because of its immense size, Zunisha can defeat practically any enemy with a single strike of its trunk, as it did with Jack. But here's the kicker. That was Zunisha simply defending itself. If the elephant had actually intended to kill Jack, the outcome would have been unimaginable. So, without a doubt, Zunisha stands as the strongest creature in the One Piece world, and there's really no competition. Now, let's move on to the final category, the strongest Devil Fruit user. This topic has been discussed countless times, but with recent events in the manga, the answer might not be so clear due to some newly revealed Devil Fruits. One fruit that has long been considered the strongest is Whitebeard's Gura Gura no Mi, which is undoubtedly one of the most destructive Paramecia-type Devil Fruits in the series. Whitebeard's Gura Gura no Mi was undeniably one of the most powerful Devil Fruits, as demonstrated by the massive destruction he caused during the Marineford War with his quakes. However, with Blackbeard now in possession of this fruit, along with the Yami Yami no Mi, the question arises, does this combination make him the strongest Devil Fruit user? The synergy between these two fruits is certainly impressive. With the Yami Yami no Mi, Blackbeard can pull people closer to him, and with the Gura Gura no Mi, he can deliver devastating punches. That said, we've never seen Blackbeard go all out, which means we can't definitively label him as the strongest Devil Fruit user just yet. Another strong contender is Luffy, with his mythical Zoan fruit that transforms him into the sun god, Nika. The cartoonish powers of this fruit enabled Luffy to completely turn Kaido, the world's strongest creature, into a mere joke during the Egghead arc. This form also allowed Luffy to overpower Admiral Kizaru and even Saturn, a member of the Celestial Dragons. Luffy's Devil Fruit, the mythical Zoan Nika, seems to solidify his place as one of the strongest Devil Fruit users. However, there are still questions about whether he truly holds the top spot, especially considering other, lesser-known abilities that may have a hidden god-tier potential. One such fruit is Bonnie's Toshi Toshi no Mi. At first glance, it may seem unimpressive, as it allows Bonnie to change her age. But what if I told you that the fruit can actually transform her into different versions of herself from various futures, as long as she can imagine them? Believe it or not, Bonnie managed to use this ability to turn herself into a stronger version of herself, or NA, from the future. Since her fruit works on other people too, she could potentially transform others into their future selves. However, there are still many uncertainties, like whether her future form is stronger than her original and how long she can maintain it. Because of these doubts, I'm inclined to give Luffy the crown for now, as his abilities have been more thoroughly tested in battle. But this could change with new manga developments. In any case, one thing that will always remain constant are the incredible final forms of One Piece characters. If you're interested in learning more about these forms, check out this video where I explain all 35 final forms in One Piece.